This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So let's go ahead and continue with our next chapter, Ansible modules. So I told you guys while explaining on a very brief note that modules are the small Python programs by using which you can do different tasks on your client machines. I have given you some examples like we have a ping module to test the connectivity of any machine. You have yum or DNF to install, update, or remove softwares from the client side. Yum repositories to create repositories on the client side. Like in software management class, we saw that you have to create a DNF repository, right? And after creating that repository, all the clients need to have a set of repositories on the client side as well. So suppose if you have 200 clients, don't you think it would be tough for you to go to each client and create that repository? So if you want to automate that task, you have to use yum repository module. Service module will uh, start, stop, restart, that kind of thing. Package module is like RPM. RPM will directly install a software from some location if it is kept, kind of thing. Systemd is very much same to service, which will allow us to deal with services. Cron will allow you to schedule some task. LVG, it is for logical volume groups. So if you want to create a volume group, then you go with LVG module. LVOL is for logical volume to create logical volumes. Parted to create partitions. Template, we'll learn about that later. Fetch to get some files from the other machine, right? Suppose if you have 20, 30 machines and from there you want to fetch some files, then you can go with fetch module, right? Similarly, you have user module, group module, too many modules are there. NMCLI module to deal with networking. SEF context to deal with context on a file. SE Linux to enable, disable SE Linux. Command module, one of the very, very helpful module, guys. See, you have some ad hoc commands like ls command, or you might have something like um, shutdown command, power off command, restart command, cat command, or maybe you wanted to use copy command. Then any OS related commands, if you want to execute, will go with command module. Command module will allow you to run different ad hoc commands that are supported with specific OS on that machine. File module will allow us to do file operations. So there are many modules are there what you can deal with. How can I get a list of modules? To get the list of all modules on a machine in which Ansible is installed, you can run a command ansible doc-l. It doesn't matter, guys, if you don't remember all the modules. But if you can remember Ansible doc, this command, that is enough. So you can go to Ansible doc, find out your module and use it, right? For example, I wanted to see all the list of modules. Let me log in on the master node where we have installed Ansible. So you can just say ansible-doc-l. Now, when we run this command, it shows you the list of modules that are supported in Ansible with a brief description about it, right? So as I told you that Ansible can work with different operating system, different things, right? So it gives you all those things. So if you just go for it, you just go below, you'll find many. See, it's now supporting AIX. As soon as IBM has acquired Red Hat, they have first thing started the support that Ansible can now deal with AIX. IBM AIX machines. So you can automate your work on IBM AIX environment also. Same way you can go with Windows, you can go with different clouds, right? AVI clouds, AWS cloud, or maybe Azure cloud or Google cloud. See, for all that cloud operations also, it is giving you to manage from here. So you can manage your cloud accounts also by using Ansible. That's the beauty of this concept. Anyway, I'm not interested to see all. Maybe I just wanted to see the modules that are supported in Windows environment, for example. So you can say grep show all the modules that start. See, I have used cap symbol. If you look on your keyboard, there is 6 numeric character, 6. So if you use shift and 6, it prints that cap. So I want to see the modules which starts with the word when. Whenever in grep you are looking for a word that should come at the beginning, then you have to go with cap. Cap will search for the word from the beginning of the line. So when you hit enter, you'll find all the modules that are supported in Windows. So you see WinRDS and WinReboot, right? WinRedStart, WinRoute, WinSay. So these are all Windows related modules, what it is giving you, right? Same way, if you wanted to see the modules that might be related to non-Windows, I don't want to see Windows environment modules. Except Windows environment, I wanted to see all others. So you can say same command, but instead of grep, you can say grep hyphen v. I hope you remember the basics. If you recall the basics class, you'll come to know that we will use to go with inverse grep. That means something you don't want to see. Out of all output, I'm not interested to see something that starts with Windows. So it will show you all non-Windows output. So where you are seeing Zabbix and ZFS. ZFS is nothing but your storage kind of thing on Linux environment. So it might tell you that ZFS what it can do. Same way, if you go little up, you might find VMware related modules, right? ESXi, you can manage the virtualization concept also. Also, if you go above, you'll find many other modules, sysctl. These are Linux modules, sysinit or telnet or svc, right? Or if you go above, we have service module, setup module, shell module, right? Se boolean. If you go above, you'll find many. Now, maybe I wanted to grep out from this file module. So I'll use double grep. See, first of all, I'm telling Ansible doc hyphen L to list all modules. From the list, I'm filtering non-Windows module. Now from non-Windows module, I want to see the module called file module. So you see, it is going to show you all the modules that have a word called file. Maybe if you're interested to see only the module that starts with file, then you can slightly modify and use cap at the beginning. So it might show us only those modules which start with file. So now you see we have file module, manage files and files property, or you have file system. To make a file system is nothing but formatting, a partition, mounting, all those activities can be done, right? Or simply you can say Ansible doc grep file, it might also show you. Same way, we have some other module also, like maybe you wanted to go for uh, copy module. So copy modules, what it does, it copy files to remote location. Maybe you go with fetch module. Fetch will fetch the files from remote node. So copy module will take your files to different machines. Fetch module will get the data from different machines, right? Like that. But guys, okay, that's really fine that I'm finding out the module names. Maybe I wanted to see detail about each module, how to use them, right? See, probably what happens is in our Ansible concept, we mostly write plays and put it into playbooks. So we mostly 90% require playbook method, how to put module and its related stuff in a playbook. If you know how to write a playbook, then you can do any kind of work, whatever is given to you or whatever is the task you wanted to work out. So in order to know, and guys, there are a huge list of modules available. So the best thing what you can do in order to get detail about any module, for example, I wanted to get the detail about copy module, for instance. So I'll say Ansible doc hyphen L. I want to check the detail about copy module. The moment you hit enter, it opens so beautiful explanation. Maybe Okay, I don't need hyphen L here. That's the mistake I'm doing. I'm sorry. Now it opens that explanation for us. So you see, it is telling us what copy module will do. So it is explaining you that what copy module will do. Now here are few flags what you can use. Now over here it is telling you that any flag which is coming with equals to in the explanation is a mandatory flag, without which this particular thing is not going to work. So what are the options? Like normally guys, when you go with copy, you have recursive, verbose, forceful, permission, many options. So here, this is not a command. There is a difference between a command and a module, guys. Command is created by your operating system, but this module is created for Ansible, right? So Ansible may have different options with that. Like it is telling you attribute. You can also create a backup file before taking the copy. Check sim to check whether the file is copied correctly or not, right? Same way you can go with content decrypt. C equals to destination. So all are optionals, but destination is mandatory. Same way if you go below, you have force. You can change group name on the file. Many options are there. The most important thing is simply go to bottom of this explanation and you will get a method how to put in a playbook. This is really helpful concept, guys. Whenever you are writing a playbook, if you forgot the steps, how to put the steps in a playbook, you can simply come here and see examples. This is beautiful work they have done. 99% guys, when we work with Ansible, we have to get help from here. So you need to come here. See, it is explaining that first line, you have to give description, then you have to use copy module, you can give source, you can give destination. If you want, you can change owner, you can change group owner, you can even change the file permission. So these are the options what it is explaining us. See, second example, third example, fourth example, whatever you might be doing, there are lots and lots of examples mentioned over here. Any work you are doing, get an example or simply copy paste the things from here and create your own playbook. One or two times you do, next time automatically you will get habituated and you may be able to create your own playbooks. And this is what exactly we are also going to do. Before creating any task, we'll refer to that module, we'll get the points, and we are going to create. So there is nothing what I'm going to teach from myself. It's everything mentioned in this module. Just view that module, copy what you wanted to copy and create your playbook and go ahead. That's it, right? Fine. Anything. You can go with Ansible doc, ping, copy, user, any module you want to work, you can just go with that. For example, you want to work with DNF. So you can say Ansible doc DNF or yum. Better to go with yum as DNF is still under construction as it started from Red Hat 8. So we can use yum. It works on lower versions as well. So anyway, so you see it's explaining what DNF module can do. If you check yum also, you'll get same information. And if you go below, you'll get how to use this in a playbook. So it is giving you the format, how to work with that. So copy pasting it, working with that simple as we have to do. Now let me show you few ad hoc commands what we can use with Ansible. Ad hoc commands are one-time executions that you want to do. You don't want to repeat it. For example, you don't have to create a playbook for it. First of all, you understand that why we create a playbook. In general, if you look in shell scripting, why do we create a script? See, we create a script so that whenever we require to do that task, we can use the script instead of remembering all the steps and performing it, isn't it? So same way, whenever you want to do a set of tasks using Ansible, we create a playbook and keep it so that whenever related task is required, we already have a playbook format and we use it, modify it, and perform our task. But sometimes we do very small work. Maybe I just want to view the host name of the other machine. For that, I don't have to create a playbook. I can simply run it as normal command. So that tasks are nothing but ad hoc commands. Now these are generally the regular commands what we use on any operating system, like host name, cat command, or ls command, or any other regular commands. But these are one-time command. They doesn't get stored in any file. It's just get executed as a command what we want to perform, like shut down, reboot other machines. So how to use them? You can go like this: Ansible pattern. Pattern is nothing but either you can go for one host or you can go for group of hosts. Hyphen M, which module you want to use. Now you can use command module to execute regular commands, or you can go with file module to copy files, or you can go for DNF for installing a software, or you can go for fetch to get the files from the other machine, like that. After that, you have to use hyphen A. Hyphen A stands for arguments, like what command you want to execute or what is the task you want to perform. For example, you see there is some example I have kept over here. If you just wanted to read one file on a specific machine, then you can say Ansible. Either you can mention a host name or group name hyphen M, I'll go with command module. So if you just go with command module, Ansible doc command. So what is this? It says the command module takes the command name followed by list of spaces and all, and it performs that command on your client side. It can be any command, whatever command you wanted to run. Any command of your choice you can use and perform that task. For example, you wanted to reboot the machine or run cat command. For example, I'll give you one example. I'll say Ansible on mhost1, right, by using a module. Which module you have to use, you have to mention. If you are doing installation, you are going with DNF module. If you are creating a user, you have to go with user module. So if I'm just executing a command, I have to go with command. Then I'll say hyphen A for arguments. So what are the arguments you want to do? I'm just running a command. What command? Cat etc hosts. So it will go to mhost1 and it is going to read the output for you, right? So you see it is showing you what is the output of that file. Or maybe you wanted to run a simple command, host name ctl, for example. See, it went on the other machine and executed that command for you. So any regular command that you wanted to run, you can go with command module. In fact, guys, if you don't mention hyphen M also, by default, the module that is going to be used is command module only. Let me show you. If you go to etc ansible ansible.cfg, now inside it, let me show you what is the default module that is set. One second. Mm, okay. See, here it is mentioned default module. Default module by default is command. That means if you don't mention module name, automatically it will consider command module is what you are trying to use. You can change the default module by uncommenting it and telling that the default module is user kind of thing. Suppose every time you are doing user operations, so you can mention user module also. Okay, anyway, so if I repeat the same command without using hyphen m, I don't have to mention hyphen m command because command module is a default module. Still, it is going to work because command module is set as a default module. One more thing, guys, I'd like to show you tail hyphen 20 etc ansible ansible.cfg. See over here, it is giving you what is the result of different colors. So you see, if the output contains error, it would be a red output. If you are going with warning, if you are getting a warning, it would be bright purple. If the things are okay, it's green. That means your command executed successfully, kind of thing. It will go with green color. If anything got changed, that means what command you are executing, if that command has executed successfully and changed something, then you will get yellow color. So over here, these are the colors what will be displayed when you run Ansible commands or playbook. Okay, now we'll see few examples. um, okay, first example we have already seen, to check or read any file. One more example is reading FS tab. That does not make any difference. Suppose I wanted to read it on all my host. If you check etc ansible and hosts, here we have created two group, my group and my group 2. My group contains mhost 1 and 2, and group 2 contains 3 and 4. Guys, I want to perform a task on all the hosts. I don't want to worry about which group it belongs to. On every name mentioned in that host file, I want to perform this operation. How to do that? We'll say Ansible all. Go to all machines and do this task. What task? I'll say hyphen m command. If you don't give command also, by default it will work. So I'll say the argument. I wanted to read um, etc fs tab file. So it will go to all machines and perform that etc fs tab reading. Suppose I wanted to read or I wanted to perform the task one at a time, then you can set the forks. You remember, guys, in the last class I showed you forking. By default, 5 forks at a time it is taking. If you want to restrict one fork at a time, then you can mention hyphen F1. Now you see it goes to every machine. First it has performed on mhost 1, then mhost 2, mhost 3, mhost 4. One after the other, it is going to perform that task. So here also you can mention how many forks at a time you want to perform, right? Fine. Now let us say that I wanted to copy a particular file from my master node to a particular machine. How can we do that? You can say Ansible on which host. You have to go with copy module. See guys, if you look out into copy module, Ansible doc copy module. In copy module, I have just shown you a little bit earlier also, source and destination is the same thing, out of which destination is also very important, where you want to put it on the client side, right? So here is an example what we are going to work with. So I'll say in arguments, source, that which is the file you want to copy. So I say I want to copy a file etc host from the master node, and I wanted to put it on destination some location. So guys, actually this is not a good practice to open a client, but as we are testing, I'll keep it open just to make sure that the file is created or not. A proper view we will get. So if you check out in TMP, there is no such file with the name host backup or something. So I'll say Ansible on mhost2 using a module copy. I wanted to put an argument what I want to do. So in the argument, the first thing I have to mention is source, which file to copy, and then destination where I want to keep it, with what name I want to keep it. So we need to say src equals to I want to copy etc host file, and I want to put it in a TMP of the other machine with a name called host underscore BKB. So you see it says the output is changed. That means it went ahead and it performed that task for you. It says in the destination it has created that file for you. Now let me come up here on the other machine. There was no backup file earlier. Now, if I say lstmp, you will find that host underscore bkp file is present over there, right? Now, same way, if you want to copy a directory instead of file, then what we can do is source, you need to mention the directory name, and destination wherever you want to paste it. Now, this example you see creating a new file on the specific host. Now, guys, creating a new file, there are two things. Today's class, I'm going to show you how to create an empty file. In the coming time, I'll show you after creating an empty file, how to copy contents into that file. So as we are slowly moving towards this concept, I don't want you to jump with everything. First, we will learn how to create an empty file, and then we will create a content file. Oh, one more thing, guys. See, last time when I run this command got executed and I got yellow output. So file is already present on the other side. Is it or not? Just check it out. You'll find the file is already there. Now, what if file is already there and I am repeating the task? Already I have copied a file on the other machine. It already exists. Now what will happen? Will it overwrite it? See, the output. The output is not coming in yellow. Yellow means something has changed on the client side, but green means that file exists and nothing got changed. That means it has compared the file. It checked the file, that same file is there, same content is there, nothing has been modified. So it is not going to overwrite it. So Ansible does not overwrite the file if the content is same. If something is already done, it won't try to repeat it next time to waste your time. If everything is similar, there is nothing to be changed. It simply comes up in green color and say that, okay, what you are searching, the file is there, nothing has been changed. Okay. Now, suppose you want to remove that file. As of now, I'll show you ad hoc command, but we'll learn proper file command later. So Ansible, I'll say on mhost2, I wanted to go with command module. followed by argument. I want to remove a file in TMP whose name is host underscore BKB. It might warn us that you should better use file module. See, it says that consider using file module state absent rather than rm command. Okay, it's fine. As we know rm command, I'm showing you, but later on we will learn file module also. Then I'll show you how to work with file module. So it says change is successful. Now, if you go to the other side and just verify the file what we are looking for is gone. Okay, now let's learn how to create an empty file, right? So now we are going to use file module, right? So we'll say Ansible, go to mhost3, use a module file. Let's learn what is there in file module. How to learn Ansible doc file module. What it do? It says it set attributes, create symbolic links, create directories, remove the files, remove links, all it does. Again here equals to wherever it is displaying, that is mandatory field. So out of all, you see, if you can do many things, you can add the ownership, you can lots of things you can do it. Recursive option you can apply while you are copying the content or putting the content kind of thing. Path is important where you want to put up this file, right? Many things are there. Source from where to copy, where to put. State, here it was telling us in the last command that instead of using rm command, it was telling us that go with state. So in state equals to absent, if I give, it is going to delete the file. State equals to present, if I give, it is going to create a file. So state is set absent or present, right? So suppose if I want to copy a file, then I have to give that from which location or where I want to create a file, right? Path, and you can mention state equals to touch. State equals to touch when we do, whenever you are creating an empty file. Over here you can see state equals to touch. So I'm telling go to etc, create a file foo.conf, and state equals to touch. So state equals to touch means create an empty file. And you can also set your permission, user plus something, group plus something, owner plus something, or simply you can give 600700644 that way also. Anyway, let's see a simple example. So in this scenario, I just want to create a file, an empty file. So you have to say Ansible, go to mhost3 using file module. I'm telling in this path under TMP with the name test, state equals to file. So I'm just asking it to create a file for me. If it is a directory, you have to say state equals to directory. Let's do this experiment. So as you see, there is no such file with the name called test. So let me run this command. Ansible on mhost2 I'll do, right? You can choose any host of your choice. I want to go with file module, and the arguments I need to go with path in TMP with the name test and state equals to file. Hmm, what's the mistake I might be doing here? One second. Is that a mistake I'm doing here? Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. See, absolutely sorry, I made a mistake here. State equals to file is to check whether that file exists or not. I'm really sorry. It is not going to create any file. To create a file, I need to say state equals to touch. If you're looking for a directory, whether that directory exists or not, you can say dir. So it will go and check whether that name directory exists or not. So it says that particular file is absent, or that particular directory what you are looking is absent, right? Doesn't matter. Let us say now I want to create a file. So I'll say state equals to touch. Now repeat your first command, state equals to file. So it says, yes, there is a file created now. So if you just go to other machine, repeat that ls command, you will find that there is a file available dot test. Now if you want to remove this file, then instead of using rm command, I'll say absent. Now go to other side and see, do you find any test name file? There is no test name file available, right? Or as you see, you can run this command also. I have already shown you ad hoc commands. So you can just run ls-l and check whether that file exists or not. Let's do this activity, guys. There are many more activities what we are going to do. These are very few examples what I want to show you. Maybe I want to create one user on uh, mhost 3 or mhost 4 or mhost 2 only with the name called test, right? So how to do that? First, anytime go Ansible doc and get the module information. See, this is very good thing, guys. Spend 5 minutes reading this module. It explains you what are the options you can do with that. See, out of all, the only mandatory flag to use is name. You can also set a password, but password requires some other options also. So as of now, I'm not going to teach you that, but in the coming lectures, I'll show you how to generate a password. Simple, a plain text password we cannot type. We have to encrypt the password and give it. If you don't give it in encryption, the password will not be set. So that's the reason it is telling you that go to Ansible docs and learn how to generate a password, right? So there is a method for generating the password. Normally, if you're just creating the user, let's see a example. So if you just want to add a user, you just need to go with user module and mention name equals to whatever name you want to mention. So I'll go with this thing. As of now, I'll say Ansible, go to mhost2 and run this command id test. So I'm checking, do I have a user with the name id test? So it says there is no such user available on the other side. That's great. Now I'm going to say use a module user. Every module is followed by argument. The name of that particular user should be test user. If you want, you can use different options also. As of now, I just want a simple user to be created with the name test. Last time you see id command failed saying no such user is available. Now if I repeat that command, you see it says yes, there is a user available with the name called test user. Okay, now let us say if you are planning to remove this user, you don't want this user to be there. See, I don't have to give state equals to present, but if you add, that is also fine because by default state is always present. So if you are removing, then explicitly you have to mention state equals to absent. So suppose if you are removing this user, right? So we have to do one more thing. Let me take you back to Ansible doc user. There is an option, guys. The user, one second. We want to remove the home directories as well as right, this one, remove. See, when you say remove, not only it remove the user, but it also remove the home directory and mailbox. If you just recollect user admin class in Linux, we understood when to delete a user, we say user del hyphen r. So what that r will do, if you say hyphen r, it is going to remove home directory and mailbox. Simply if you say user del, only user will be deleted. But the home directory and mailbox will not be deleted. So what I'll do is I'll repeat the command. I'll say on mhost2, I want to perform a user module. Name is test. I'll say state equals to absent, that is to delete the user, and I'll say remove equals to yes. So you see it deleted the user. Now if I just go to mhost2, check tail etc password, you'll not find the name of test. Go to home directory is also deleted. Go to var spool mail. You won't find that test users mailbox also. So whenever you say remove equals to yes or remove equals to true, then it is going to delete not only the user, but it is also going to delete home directory and mailbox. Now here I perform the task on a specific host. If I have to perform it on the entire group, I'll say Ansible group name. If I want to perform on every host I have in inventory, so I'll say Ansible all. When you say all, it is going to perform task on each and every name mentioned in your inventory file, that is etc Ansible hosts. Okay, right. Many more commands, guys, we are going to learn in the coming time. Now let's talk about Ansible plays and playbook. As of now, I'm not going to immediately create the playbooks and work with that. We'll understand the format. Then we'll go with uh, doing some variable tasks in which we will learn creating playbooks. So these are the really important stuff we are learning, the backbone of your Ansible. So as I told you, Ansible playbook is set of plays you want to execute on a remote machine. Now that plays can be creating users or creating logical volumes, volume groups, LVMs, creating partitions, or installing a services and starting a services, or dealing with firewalls, many things you can do, right? So whenever you are writing a playbook, or inside it, whenever you are dealing with a play, we write that playbook in a special format called YAML format. There are many other formats supported, but YAML is one of the simplest format, as it is not a typical markup language. So just a proper spaces, indentations, if you take care, the whole thing will be very easy to work. So this is the format how we have to create a playbook. First, we have to mention on which hosts you want to perform this task, right? Now you have to mention go to so and so host, and you can also pass some directive like while doing this task which user you want to use on the other machine, and do you want that user to become super user using sudo powers, do you want to collect information of the other machine before performing task or not. Then we will mention variables. Variables, vars is to define variable and use it the same way how we use in shell script. See, in a shell script, if you want to repeat a task number of time or repeat a particular thing number of time, instead of typing again and again, we simply define a variable. Whenever you call that variable, the data inside it will automatically be recalled. I'll show you a simple example. Normally on a shell script, way also I can create a variable. For example, name equals to Sham. That is a variable I have set. How to call the variable? I'll say echo dollar name of the variable. So you see, whenever I call dollar name, it is going to recollect. Or suppose I'll override the variable. I'll say my name is Shabir. Now, if I say echo dollar name, see every time if I have to type such a big sentence, if I type it again and again in the file, every time it will take time. So what I do, I create a variable, I give it name. So whenever I call that name, automatically whatever I have written inside it will be recollected, right? This is what we have also learned in for loop. So in a variable called I, we store four names, and whenever we call that I, automatically four names are being recollected, right? Anyway, so let me unset this variable. I don't want that variable to be there anymore. Gone, right? So like that, in playbook also you can create and use variables. In fact, guys, there are many Ansible defined variables. Like in our system also, we have system defined variable and user defined variable. In this case, name equals to something is called as user defined variable, what I have created. But our system also will have some variables, right? For example, if I say echo dollar host name, right? Have I created any variable with this name? No, this is by default available by your system. Or you say echo dollar user capital letter. So it is printing with which user I have logged in. Or echo dollar ID, or maybe something else I can use. There are many. If you want to see all system defined variables, you can just type env. When you run env, here it tells you hist control, host name, user, pwd, right? And home, right? Shell. These are all system defined variable that comes with our operating system. We have not defined it, it is defined by system. Now in this list also you will find user defined variables also. So anyway, if you want to check your system defined variable, user defined variable, we go with env. So let's not go in that. I was just telling you that in Ansible we have custom variables what we can set, or Ansible defined variables that comes with Ansible. Both we can use. Then the main part, performing task. What task you want to do. Now every task must have a module. With that module, you have to perform the task. Then you have handlers. See guys, handlers are something you have to do in case of a event. Let me give you an example. Just remember, when we deal with firewall, we run a command firewall cmd add service xyz permanent. Now when you run this command, if this command is successful, then next thing what you will do, guys, if that command is successful, you have to reload firewall, yes or no? If you don't reload the firewall, whatever you have done in this command is like waste of time. Till next reboot, nothing is going to change. So whenever firewall is adding or removing the rule, immediately the next step is to refresh or reload the service. So that thing is handled by handler. So suppose the task was to add a service in firewall. If the task is successful, automatically handler will get activated, and next thing it will do is reload firewall services, right? So it wait for the result of task. Task is successful, it is going to perform the handler. We will see this thing in our playbook examples in the coming time. Then rules are also there, like what type of role you are going to apply while you are doing a task. Maybe you want to do it as a root or non-admin kind of thing. We'll talk about roles more in the coming time. Now, this is a typical example how we create a playbook. So as we learned, guys, that we are going to create a playbook in YAML int markup language. Some people say that YAML stands for yet another markup language. No, that is not the full form. YAML stands for YAML int markup language. Okay, so it's not open tag, close tag kind of thing. Simple stuff is there. YAML always starts with three dashes. So you have to start with three dashes, mention what you want to do. Like, I want to perform the task on mhost1. Do you want to become sudo user? Obviously, guys, whenever you are trying to perform an important task, you must be a sudo user to do that task. So become equals to true. That means I want this task to be performed as a super user. Then what task you want to do, starting with description, what you want to do, then which module you want to use, what is the port you want to allow, state equals to enable, that means permanent, I want to add it. State equals to disable, you are removing the rule. Do you want to make this change permanent? Yes or no? Now notify to reload firewall. So I'm telling that if this task is successful, inform firewall to do next thing. So that is handled by handlers. So it will wait for this section and see the result. If result is successful, then the next task we are performing is reload firewall. So I'm telling systemd, there is a service firewall, you reload it. So these is the task or play what I have written. YAML always starts with three dashes and end with three dots. See, at the end, if you don't give three dots, it's fine. There is no problem. But mandatorily, you should begin with three dashes. If you don't use three dashes, it may not understand that this is a YAML format and it may not support or help us. Now, we'll see some examples of creating a playbook with variables. Let's learn how to define variable and how to call them in playbook. So guys, YAML as learned stands for YAML int markup language. Whenever you are writing a playbook, the playbook extension should be .yaml or .yml. If you don't create a file with that extension .yml or YAML, then while executing, we may have issues. So if you are writing a book in YAML, you have to keep the extension as .yaml or at least .yml. So a simple dictionary variable, what I'm going to create here. See, whenever you are creating a variable, the heading should be vars, and you have to define key value. Just now, guys, I showed you an example, name equals to Shabir. So name is nothing but key, and the data what you are storing is my name is Shabir, right? So this is the name what I am setting. Now this can be anything of your choice, and value is again your choice, whatever you want to do it. So this is defining the variable. How to call it? Guys, there is something called Jinja 2 templating system. Templates are nothing but something in which the configuration is written, right? So there is a method to write a configuration called Jinja 2 templates. These are all your coding and other things related concept. I don't want to make it very complicated for you. So just a simple method is there to call that variable. How to call it? You have to use two inverted commas. Then you have to start with two curly brackets. Whatever key name you have used, use the same key name and close it again with two curly bracket. So this method of calling a variable is called as Jinja 2 templating system. So you can define variable in YAML language format, and to call it we have to use this Jinja 2 templating. This is what Ansible uses, the most simplest thing I can tell you. So let us say I will create one file, a simple playbook to print a message. See, to print a message, we use a module called debug module. Let me get rid of that other machine. So if you run Ansible doc debug module, it's simple. This module prints the statement. That's it. You want to just print a message when playbook is executed. So you have to go with debug module, and inside it you will use MSG. MSG is nothing but message, right? So you just need to use a debug module, whatever message you are using, and then call that variable what you have set, Jinja to format. See this example. In this example, I'm going to create a file with vars.yml. Extension is really important. You need to set it either YAML or you have to set with .yml. Start with three dashes. Now, one more thing, let me tell you, indentation or spaces plays a very important role in YML, right? So if you are going with one block host on which you want to perform the task, you have to maintain the same indentation, right? Then inside vars, if you are going for something else, then you have to give some space and start it. So this means this is the parent block and this is a child block. Same way you are performing task. So task should be started in the same line where host was mentioned, because on this host you are performing task. Then under task you have a child block. So give a space and mention whatever you want. Then inside it you have debug module. Debug has one more child. So like that you have to use indentations very properly. If there is a space issue between two things, then it will throw error. We'll let you know how to check if it is correct or not. So let's keep it in front and let's do this task for us. I want this module to be performed as of now, debug module, just to print a message. I'm defining one variable and I'm going to call that variable. So I'll say vim vars dot yml, or you can say yaml. I'll go with simple YML. Now I'll go with three dashes. See, as soon as you mention these three dashes, vim editor is very smart. As soon as you mention three dashes, it will understand that you are using YAML format. So it automatically helps you with indentations so that whatever you are creating should have proper spaces. Intents are really important over here. So when I go with next line, I'll give a dash and a space. I'll say hosts. On which host you want to perform it. If you say all, it is going to perform on all host. If you say my group, it is going to perform on my group. If you want two specific hosts, you can say m host 1, m host 3. On these two hosts, it is going to perform the task. So maybe I'm going with m host 1 only. Now see the beauty. The moment I hit enter, how it is going to start on the same intent. Is it starting from beginning of the line? No. This is why VIM editor is very favorite for many people to work with. Different formats of creating configuration, it helps very nicely. So here I don't have to worry about the spaces, have I given correctly or not. It automatically helping us. Now I'm setting a variable. So I'll say vars. Vars is a keyword that we use to set variable. I'll give colon and hit enter. See the beauty again, guys. So under vars, now I have a child block. So automatically it took a good space, which is telling that variable has a child inside it. Now I can set many variable. I'm going with one variable. For example, maybe I'll say that you cannot use some user-defined variables or system-defined variables like name. Name is Ansible defined variable. If you use it, it may say that this is already used by Ansible, you cannot use it. So we have to use some other thing. Like here I'm going with sub e colon space, I'll say Ansible. Now guys, I am done with variable. I don't have any more variable. So it might take you to same intent. Now here what I have to do is I have to go back to my first intent. Just below host and variable, I'll mention tasks. What is the task you want to perform? So this is taking somewhere else. I need to correct it. Okay. Now I'll go, what is the task you want to perform? So if you are going with a child block, some space you have to manage properly. In fact, if you manage like this just below sub, that is also cool, but at least one space is required. Under task, if you give one space, it becomes child block for task. So suppose I'll say description, I'll say name, printing a message or printing the value of variable. See, automatically it is coming in the next line, right? Now, what is the module you are using? I'm going to use debug module. See the beauty, guys. When I type debug module colon hit enter, automatically it is taking the next line to go for it. So I'll say MSG. One space is enough, or whatever automatic spaces it is giving, that is also fine. What is the message you want to print? See, there are many things you can do. You can print a full message, or I'm just interested to call the value. So use double quotes, open two parentheses, give a space, then call the variable, again give a space and close the bracket. So you need to start bracket with a space and before ending also space. If you don't give spaces, it will be treated as syntax error. Now go to last line and stop by three dots. Now three dots are optional. If you don't end it with three dots also, there is no harm. It is going to work smoothly. Let me save and quit. Okay guys, I have created my playbook. That's great. But do I know the syntaxes what I have used inside it is correct or not? I am thinking that I have created very carefully a Ansible playbook, but it might be a case that I might doing mistakes. How can I verify everything is correct or not? So we have this command to run a playbook. You have a command Ansible playbook, right? So I'll say Ansible playbook. Let me take, okay, Ansible playbook. Which playbook you want to run? Vars.yml. If I hit enter, it will go and execute the playbook. But you can use hyphen hyphen syntax hyphen check. It's like test PAM command in Samba or other things. So it is going to check and tell us, does our playbook contains any error, especially if you have spaces and any wrong key value if you use. For instance, I'll go back. Instead of vars, I'll use something called var. Now this might be a mistake. See, it's telling us here, there is error. Var is not a valid attribute. So it is telling which line might contain error, right? So this is how we can verify that what's the problem is there in my playbook. Now, if I correct and run syntax check, there is no problem. That means I have configured my playbook correctly. What I need to do now, I need to repeat enter. Observe here, it is collecting information by default. See in the configuration file, ansible.cfg, facts collection is set to whether you say to collect it or you don't say it to collect, it is going to collect the facts. So you see, in first, the play is performing a task on mhost 1. Before performing the task, it is collecting information. See, gathering fact will be important when you are dealing with different operating system. You don't know, right? You might be working with Red Hat Linux or Ubuntu or Debian or XYZ. So depending on which machine you are working, I want to perform a specific task. So in that scenario, first you have to collect the facts. Basing on facts, our task will be performed. So in that scenario, task collections will be, facts collection will be very important. Then what is the task? It is printing the message what I have written, printing a value of variable. What is the message? It called a variable and printed that. If you want, you can add a big message over here. Maybe you can come up over here and you can say message. The value of sub is. So it will print that message and then call the variable. So either you can just mention the variable name or you can go with a message followed by the value. Okay. Now, guys, you can also check how much time it is taking to run the playbook, right? For example, there is a command called time. You can use time command with any command, time lvs, time vgs, time user add. It shows how much time it took to complete this command. So here it is telling it took 3 seconds and 455 nanoseconds or microseconds to complete it, right? So why it is taking that much time? Because it is spending time in collecting the facts. So if you want, you can disable the facts also. How can we disable the fact? If you completely want to disable the facts, you have to go to etc ansible ansible.cfg. Now over here, you can just go for facts. Let me show you over here. Okay, one second. Maybe it is available at the beginning. Right. What does it says? Place will gather the facts by default, which contains information about remote host. Now there are methods what you can go for. First method is smart. Gather by default, but don't gather if already gathered. So one time collect the facts. Next time on same machine, if I'm performing a task, do not waste time in collecting the fact. Or implicit. If you set facts collection to implicit, by default, it will never collect the fact unless you ask in playbook to collect the facts, right? Oh, I'm so sorry. On the contrary, if I mention implicit, I'm sorry. It gather the facts, but it can be turned off by setting gather facts equals to false. Explicit is the thing what I have explained you. Do not gather the facts by default until the user is asking to do that in the playbook. So if you set it to implicit, always it is going to collect the fact. But this check will be disabled if explicitly you mention in the Ansible playbook, don't collect it. If you set it to explicit, then no facts will be collected by default. It will only collect the facts in the playbook if you say gather facts equals to true. So by default, what is the feature? Implicit. That is the reason every time you are running a playbook, it is collecting the fact. If you by default want to disable it, just uncomment this line, and in place of implicit, you can type explicit, so that by default no facts are collected. Or you can set it to smart that collect one time, don't repeat it again. Anyway, I don't want to disturb the configuration file. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my uh, file. Before that, you see how much time it is taking. It is taking almost 4 seconds, 89 microseconds or nanoseconds. So let me go for my playbook. In the playbook, after host, we'll type gather underscore facts colon. You can say no or you can say false. Anything is fine. Yes or no, true or false. It's Boolean. Anything will work. So last time it took almost 4 seconds to perform the task and facts were gathered. Now if mm, maybe I made a small mistake, gather underscore facts. All right. So see, play started, did not wasted the time in collecting facts. Just in 1 second 29 milliseconds, my work has been finished. Right? So what was the value we have to pass? Gather underscore facts. I made a mistake by typing fact. When I corrected the value, it went ahead, it collected the facts. It did not collected the fact, but performed the task. So if you think you are doing a task where you don't need facts to be collected, so don't waste the time in that, then you can simply go and do disable the facts collection. Okay. Then see, I might have multiple key values in a variable. Suppose I wanted to create one main name like cars, and inside that cars, I wanted to keep different values like Mercedes, some value, BMW, some values, or Nissan, some values, like that. So we can create multiple key values under one dictionary variable. So you have to give it a name. Here in this example, I am using a name as dict. So you can call it whatever. In place of dict, I can call it cars. And here, same thing. Key one, value one, key two, value two. Key can be any name, value can be any data you want to store inside it, right? Now, to call the whole dictionary, you have to use the same name what you have defined. To call a specific value, you have to say dictionary dot key one or dictionary bracket key one. There are two ways to call it. One is called dot notation and the other one is called as bracket notation. Anyway, let's see it an example. So let's create another file, vim vars2 dot yml. Let me go for it. We'll start with three dashes representing this is a YAML file, right? And hosts colon on which host you want to perform. I want to perform it on mhost1. Would you want to gather the facts? That is your choice. If you want to gather the facts, no need to mention that line. Implicitly, it is going to allow that. So after that, I'll say no. Here I need to use a space. Right. Now I'll go with variables. So I'm just creating a dictionary variable. Now this name can be anything your choice. I'm using dict. You can use whatever you want to use. Now inside it, I want to go with first variable with the name key1. You can go with whatever name you like. I'll say value1. Then key2, value2. You can go whatever you want. Then I wanted to go with a task that I want to perform. So I'll go with tasks. Okay. Whenever I'm saying task and enter, it is taking me. Okay. So what is the task we want to perform? I want to go first with the description. Description is important. We have to say, I'll say printing uh, dictionary variables, right? Then I have to use debug module to print messages. Later on, we will learn performing a task like creating users and all. As of now, as a trial, I'm just printing messages. So if you, I just want to call the variable. I don't want any messages to be displayed. So start with a space, give the whole dictionary name, right? And to stop it, I have to use three dots. Even if you don't use it as I say, it's fine. Now, let's do a syntax check. Ansible playbook vars2.yml hyphen syntax check. It says there is no problem in my playbook. So let's repeat the thing. So you see on mhost1, I perform a task. Basically, I did not perform any task. I just printed two data in my variable. Key1, value1, key2, value2. As I told you, if you are interested to call only one value, I don't want to call two values, then you have to say dict dot whatever is the next name of your variable you have set. So in this case, the name is key1. Maybe I just want to call key1. So go back to your variable and here I'll mention dictionary dot key1 or key2. Now if I go back, execute it, this time it is just going and targeting value1. Or if you want to go with second value, you can go with dictionary1 key1. So this is called dot notation. Dot notation is very simple. If you want to go with bracket notation, one more method, then this is the technique what we have to use. In a square bracket, after the main dictionary name, use a bracket and call that variable name. So I'll go with bracket, square bracket, within single quote, mention key2. Most of the people use bracket dot notation instead of bracket notation because you have to use bracket and then you have to mention the key name, right? So two methods are there. I just want you to know that maybe when you come across something, a playbook in your professional environment, they are using brackets, so you don't have to get confused. It's the same way of calling the thing. Either you use dot or you use bracket notation. That is your choice. Okay. Now we have other set of variables like list variables and others. I don't want to take all of them today. Then we have dictionary plus list, both we can use it. And then we'll see some example creating user on a specific machine and all. So today I want you to practice this much, whatever I have shown you. Tomorrow I'll take you four more steps and we'll see how to create more playbooks with different options. So today's task will be going through modules, running some ad hoc commands, right? And then understanding the variable concept in a playbook. Simple concept I have shown you, simple dictionary and dictionary with two variables inside it. Defining and calling, printing the messages. That's it. There is nothing big task we are doing. Slowly, steadily, we will make more complex stuff in the coming lectures. So is that fine, guys? Today's lecture. Do you have any questions to ask before I wind up? Yes, you are very correct, Ola. You need a practice a lot. A hell lot of practice is required to make these things. So once you start practicing, the things will automatically become simple. But practice is the key. You have to spend at least 2 hours something reading and practicing, experimenting is the only way. Anyway, you first do the practice. If there are any questions tomorrow, I'll address that questions. Right. So we'll stop the session here, guys. See you tomorrow. But do practice and come, guys. Thank you very much.